My name is Michelle, and I'm the Director of Animal Care and Educational Programs here at W.O.L.F Sanctuary. And W.O.L.F Sanctuary is an organization that deals with the exotic pet crisis here in the United States, specifically dealing with captive-born wolves and wolf dogs. Our organization's mission is to improve the quality of life for wolves and wolf dogs through sanctuary, rescue, and education. And so we work very hard to help find appropriate placement for unwanted and abandoned wolves and wolf dogs across the country. We are able to give permanent lifelong sanctuary to up to 30 animals at our location here in northern Colorado. And then we work to educate the public about the issues of keeping wildlife as pets, specifically wolves and wolf dogs, while also trying to bring appropriate fact-based information about wild wolves to the community at large. Working with animals, especially in a situation where you're dealing with animals that come from a variety of backgrounds and situations, is a very rewarding job, but it's also a very stressful and time-consuming job. So you kind of have to take your wins whenever you can get them. Working with captive-born wolves and wolf dogs is particularly rewarding, I find, because you kind of get into this niche that not many people know about or participate in. So there's lots of opportunity to learn yourself about how these animals are and what they do, also to help educate other people. And you get to listen to noises like this, where you get to listen to them howling every single day. Working in an industry which deals with some kind of animal rehabilitation can also be extremely challenging, because often these animals are coming in with injuries, illnesses, behavioral concerns, or problems that you're not necessarily privy to, and trying to understand and find the most appropriate methods in order to help these animals overcome these challenges and thrive as normal wolf dogs and wolves should thrive can be a very challenging and can be very heartbreaking at times. But when you succeed and you get to help them, it's incredibly rewarding. Working with wolf dogs for me is incredibly rewarding because I think they are an absolutely amazing and unique species. And I get to every day learn more about these animals and how they are as individuals, but also how they are as a species. And that I find incredibly rewarding. And getting to help these animals overcome some major traumas and problems that they've had in their previous life and see them grow and expand into these wonderfully fulfilled and enriched individuals that they are gives you a sense of accomplishment and wonder. So it's wonderful to be able to do that, and it's awesome to get to come out here and spend my days in a beautiful mountain situation setting, working with partially wild animals and getting to just be out in nature and connect with that. It's very, very rewarding. However, it's a very challenging job. It is not a 9-to-5 job. You are on call pretty much all the time. Whenever you're in a care industry, whether it's human, animal, wildlife, domestic, you're on the schedule of the animals. So if something happens at midnight, you have to drop everything and come up and try to deal with that problem or that issue. So you have to be available and willing to kind of put that kind of time and dedication in, which can be very exhausting and tiring as a career. So you have to balance those rewards with what it costs. You also have the challenges of dealing with a group of animals that are semi-wild, and therefore they have a very wide variety of behaviors and behavior patterns that you have to try to adapt to, and you're the one doing the adapting, not them. You're the one who has to try to figure out where and which direction to go to be able to make sure that the care you're providing is quality care based on those individual animals' needs, and that can be extremely challenging. You also have challenges of dealing with medical issues in veterinary care. You'll have challenges in the field of, where do you get your funding? How can you afford to care for them? And some heartbreaks too, when you have to say no to an animal that maybe needs a home or a rescue and you just don't have the resources to help them. But overwhelmingly, the rewards of being able to work with these animals, the satisfaction and the validation of knowing that I am helping to improve their lives and their quality of life is a reward for sure.
I'm Olivia, and I'm the volunteer coordinator and one of the animal caretakers here at the W.O.L.F Sanctuary. So we do have limited staff positions, but we always have availability in our volunteer and our internship positions, which you can apply for through our website. To become a volunteer, you would go on our website, fill out a volunteer application, and wait for us to contact you to schedule an off-site and on-site orientation day. To become an intern, you would find the application through our website, submit all your application materials, and then we would contact you to schedule an interview. Once you go through the interview process, if you're accepted as an intern, then you would start your internship. We usually do 10-week internship sessions. Those are all listed out on our website if you want to go on there and see what we have to offer. Volunteers, we ask that you work 2 sessions per month for a minimum of 6 months at the sanctuary. The difference between a volunteer and an intern is internships are usually 2 days, a minimum of 2 days per week for a part-time internship, and a minimum of 4 days per week for a full-time internship. We don't have a formalized relationship with any university for internship credits. However, we do design projects depending on our needs at the time to help interns make sure that they can fulfill the requirements for their internship credit. We just ask that you make sure that you're speaking with your advisor ahead of time, make sure that this is an internship that would work for the requirements needed. Background education is always super helpful, taking classes that have to do with caring for animals, animal biology, animal care, things like that. However, we do not require any experience working with animals previously to your internship. We have an intensive training process here that involves training new volunteers and interns on animal behavior, medical training, and even educating the public on the animals and wolves in captivity, wolves in the wild in general. Some skills that would be very helpful when applying for an internship with the W.O.L.F Sanctuary would be great communication skills. Communication is huge for working here. We generally only have a few people manning the sanctuary day to day, and we need to make sure that we're all in contact. We're all making sure that all the animals are doing well, everybody's getting fed and getting taken care of properly, and we need to make sure that if there are any issues that come up, people are communicating about them. Another skill that would look great on an application is attention to detail. We need to make sure that everyone that's working up here can pick out when we have any issues happening with the animals, can pick out when any animals aren't eating or when they find weird things in the enclosures, and of course, situational awareness. It's really important to be aware when you're in the enclosures to avoid any incidences from occurring. Safety is huge here, so we really invest a lot of time into training you guys, making sure everybody's aware on how to deal with any kind of situation. So as long as you're aware, you have good communication skills and dedication. That's always super important when working with animals. This job is really intense. We need people on a day-to-day basis to help us with caring for them. We don't have enough staff to do everything day to day, so we really depend on our interns and volunteers to help us out with that. It can be more than just during the day, your normal work shift. Depending on the needs of the animals, we have to be available. So dedication is huge, attention to detail, and good communication skills are really important for working up here. Even if you have no background experience, as long as you have those things, those will make you stand out as an applicant. Working with animals and working in animal care can come with unpleasant tasks. So even if it's a day where it's below zero, freezing cold, snowing, we are here, we are taking care of the animals. Some days we might spend full days in the meat shed trying to process bulls for these animals. Everything we do is for them, no matter how unpleasant or inconvenient it can be for us. It all is for them. So that dedication and putting in the time and pushing through those unpleasant tasks is really important when working in animal care. So as you can see, the sanctuary is located in a pretty mountainous environment. It involves a lot of hiking. We don't really have an easy way to move things around the sanctuary besides carrying them yourself. So full water buckets, all the food bowls, hiking up the enclosures to poop scoop. It can be a little bit labor intensive, but it's all fun. It's working up in the mountains, so being with these guys makes it all worth it. So volunteers mainly help with the day-to-day animal care of our animals. That usually involves preparing food in line with their individual diets, which we feed kibble and meat on a day-to-day basis. We also make sure that they have access to clean liquid water. We make sure that their habitats are cleaned, make sure that all their dishes are done. And then we generally have a lot of habitat maintenance up here too, to repair the fencing, making sure everybody's secure and comfortable and safe in their home. So both interns and volunteers help with the day-to-day care of the animals. Interns are up here more often, so they're usually more knowledgeable about what's going on with day-to-day. They also can help us by getting involved a little more with administrative tasks. A difference between a volunteer day and an intern day is interns come up earlier. They come up with staff, they get started earlier, they help us with a little more chores around the sanctuary, whereas volunteers work a little bit of shorter days. They generally stay focused on the day-to-day care of the animals, and interns can get involved in a lot more of the background administrative tasks at the sanctuary. If interns are interested in certain aspects of running a nonprofit, and depending on our needs, sometimes they can get involved in background administrative tasks or helping us develop educational materials, helping us put together fundraisers or public outreach events. If you're interested in getting a job with a place like the W.O.L.F Sanctuary, a nonprofit sanctuary, the best advice I can give you is get involved soon. Get involved early. Volunteer, sign up for internships. That's the best way to get your foot in the door and to kind of get your name known in the industry. Finding employment can be difficult because funding for nonprofits is limited. So usually we rarely have spots open up, but when we do, it's really helpful if you're already involved in the organization, if you have experience with those animals, if you know what the organization is about, and you've already showed your dedication to that organization. That's the best way to get your foot in the door and to get your name known when it comes to finding employment in this field.
Anyone who's really interested in getting involved or seeking employment with W.O.L.F or any other nonprofit, the first thing I always tell them, you want to gain experience. Start volunteering with that organization, start interning with that organization, because lots of small nonprofits and other animal-related organizations really want to see that you're already committed and dedicated to the organization before they put in the time and energy to train and hire you for that position. So it's a great way to kind of get your foot in the door, but you also want to make sure that you're doing these experiences, gaining this experience while you're still in school. A lot of these opportunities are much more diverse while you're in school, so start while you're still a student to do summer internships or internships during the school year if you're close by to wherever you happen to be. That's wonderful and amazing experience. Sad but cliche, it's not what you know, it's who you know. However, in the nonprofit sector, especially when you're working at a small nonprofit like this, you'll find that you end up fulfilling roles beyond what you might originally have been hired for, or participating in actions and activities that are beyond your scope of experience. It really is a jack of all trades kind of situation. So taking some classes, learning about some things maybe in business or management or animal behavior will be very, very beneficial to kind of diversify your portfolio and give you the skills you need in a nonprofit situation where you can fulfill or help or jump in on whatever may be asked of you in that regard.